Good evening, GenderqueerChat. Joe here. It is Sunday evening, 7:30, but it's still light out. And I'm late getting to this topic because it's a complicated topic. But first, I'll just show you my Mr. Clean apron because I love it. I've had this thing for years. Yeah, I'm wearing an apron. This week's topic is metaphors for your genderqueer. What idea, sorry, I'm out of breath, concept or thing best represents how you identify as genderqueer? Explain. And I've been thinking about it all day and I'm having a really hard time with the subject. Metaphors. I try and get through when I'm trying to explain what genderqueer is to people. My go-to metaphor seems to be the difference between gay and straight and whatever gray area is in between. There's a Kinsey scale, I guess, 0 and 7 or 1 and 7. Is it a 7-point scale? And there is no such thing for gender, but there should be because that's the only metaphor or thing that I could think of that I use when I'm trying to explain it to people. All day, a few ones that I came up with. One was the intersex fish in Chesapeake Bay. I recently read, a couple years ago anyway, I read a really good article about these fish that are all fucked up from chemical fertilizers, or I think, maybe not chemical, but anyway, all the fish in Chesapeake Bay, which is like all of Iowa, all the farmland that goes out through the East Coast and lands in that lake in the Atlantic Ocean, all the fish in that region are either dead. There's either dead zones, or else the fish are intersex, which is to say they have the sex organs of both sexes. And I don't think that's, although it's a bad thing because it happened as a result of environmental catastrophes, I try and explain that it's still alive, it's still a thing, you know, it still has a right to life, even though it's not what you think it is, or it's not what it should be, or it's not what it's you know, started. I don't know why I'm genderqueer. I don't know, maybe because I've had the luxury of navel gazing about it all these years, you know. I think in another culture, if I'd have been born in a different time and in a different place, we just got an audition video from someone named Nat, I believe, and they mentioned at the end of their video, which I think Nat will be coming on the channel. This is the first time telling you. Nat, you'll probably be coming on our channel pretty soon. We're just getting our shit together, organized. But Nat said at the end of that video something about how the time and place, the century you were born has much more to do with anything. I think it was Nat's video. I've watched a lot of YouTube videos today. Anyway, had I been born, you know, in a different time and place, I don't know that I would have had the luxury to sit and think about my gender like I do here and now. And I think a lot of people just, you know, like I said, I was just angry most of my life, and I didn't even have words to describe what was wrong until I discovered the word genderqueer on YouTube in 2008 or 9, 10, around the time Chaz Bono came out. And it was kind of dumb luck, and it's, you know, first world privilege that I found the word. So I don't, you know, this is what I'm saying is, it's not always, you know, that way. The other metaphor that I was thinking of, let me think now. Fish. Oh, biracial people. And I was thinking, there is a very famous YouTube channel, and I forget what it is right now, but I think it's in like the top 10. And I think it's called Mixed. Are you mixed, or am I mixed? And the people doing the comedy routines or whatever are of mixed race, and they do not disclose what mix they are because it's irrelevant, right? They're just mixed. That's how they identify. And it drives the viewer nuts, typically, because, and they were saying how in life it drives people nuts. People are always asking people of mixed race what races they mix from. Specifically, if, you know, Caucasian and black is quite common, but if you're like a Filipino mixed with Inuit or something, I don't know, I'm just making two ones that are not as commonly seen, people go bananas. They really, really want to know what kind of a mix you are. And I think that's very true for gender. I think people really want to know what gender you are. There's two options, and I need to know which of those two you are. And I think a lot of times, gender aside, just sex, people need to know what's between they don't need to. They want to know what's between your legs, as if that's the defining factor, because once they know that, they can calm down and relax and look at you as the thing they think you are. And it kind of makes me laugh because, you know, I think pigeonholing is kind of human nature. I think people really want to know certain things. They want to just know what they're doing before they get into a conversation. And it's frustrating when you don't know that. But I think part of the joy of being genderqueer and finding it out later in life is accepting people for who they are without knowing all the stupid details of their life. I mean, they're not necessary. One of the kids, I think I told you guys that I gave a workshop at one of the high schools a few weeks back, and I'm going back on June 6th for Pride Day at the school. I'm going to be doing 4 workshops, except like every period I'm there the whole day. I'm so excited. My boss actually is allowing me to go. But one of the kids in that workshop asked me, if you were with someone who had had a sex change operation and you didn't know that they had previously been the other gender and they didn't want to disclose it to you and say you found out accidentally or something, would you be upset? And I said, at one time in my life, I think I would have considered that to be a lie, because I come from an alcoholic family, and I think one of my character flaws is that I have a hard time with like all or nothing. Like I tend to be an all or nothing thinker, and I tend to think that if you don't disclose everything, then you must be lying, because in an alcoholic family, a lot of times there's no filter. A lot of your parents will say stupid things and obnoxious things when they're drunk that parents don't typically tell kids, and that's sort of the way you're raised. So you have this notion of no filter, and I was raised with no filter, and I've had to acquire it in my later years, and it's not easy. I'm not a filtered person, but I have come to respect and accept that people can disclose as much or as little as they want about their personal body, their lives, their history, and that doesn't mean they're a liar. And I think it took me a long time to get to this point. So those were it. Yeah, my ideas on metaphor for gender would be fish and biracial people. Okay, so I did my best with that. I'm sorry, it was a bit of a complicated topic. I just want to see what the bonus question is, and again, we don't have one. I have to pick. I don't like being first of the week. I have to pick. I will pick. There's not too many here. Favorite article of clothing, jewelry, or accessory? Okay, there's a bit of a joke here. I don't wear jewelry. I don't wear accessories. And once an ex-boyfriend of mine told me, I remember he said, "Oh, I'm going to buy you a ring." And I said, "Have you ever seen me wear a ring? Ever?" He went, "No," but he had this notion that all girls want a ring, right? Gender. And I said, "Yeah, well, I don't want a ring, thanks, but I would love a blender. I'd like a really high-end blender," and that's what he got me for, I think it was Christmas that year. I will, you know what, since the advent of cell phones and stuff like that, I don't even have a cell phone. I'm recording on my cell phone, otherwise I'd show you. I don't even have a case for it. I'm just not an accessorizer. However, since the advent of cell phones, I have not worn a wristwatch. And I have a little long, stupid story about how my mom wouldn't let us wear wristwatches when we were kids. She didn't think kids needed to be cognizant of time. My mom was kind of funny that way. She believed kids should be kids and they should just go play, and she'll call me when it's dinner time and stuff like that. So the first thing I bought with my very first paycheck from my very first job when I was 14, it was $80. It was the entire paycheck. I made $3.15 an hour. And I bought myself a Guess watch. And I remember the very first thing I did when I brought it home was I dropped it and I cracked it, and it was a glass face. And this was back in the day when you could actually go get it repaired, and I had to spend my next paycheck repairing it. But I love that thing. And believe it or not, I do still have it laying around. However, when my brother-in-law died in October, my sister gave me some money. And the first thing I did with that money, it's funny because I don't wear a wristwatch. However, I will just run and grab it. For $20, I did get this watch, which it says Dickies. Yeah, it's dusty. It's actually a really nice watch. I really like it, and I have worn it a few times, and it's funny because every time I've worn it, I've forgotten to look at it. I remember I always go for my cell phone when I need to know what time it is. So there you go. It's the only accessory that I do wear from time to time. I'm also into glasses, frames. You may notice over the years that I wear different glasses in every video. I have probably 8 pairs of glasses. God bless CanadianContacts.ca or clearlycontacts.ca and Zeppo, Zeppo, or Americans would say Zeppo. Just Google them. They're like online glasses place, and you can get glasses for $30. I mean, really, times have changed since I was a kid. Okay. I managed to get 10 minutes out of that topic that I didn't even know I would. Have a great week, you guys, and hope to see the new person soon, and hope to see the old people this week too. Looking forward to this week. Bye-bye.